Alright, y'all know what it is. Another Freestyle Friday lyrical breakdown. This time it's going to be for the part 2. So let's go ahead and get started.
When it rains, it pours. Part of course, I soar through the air, waving my sword like I'm Sora or Zorro. Speaking of Spanish stories, hit the record button, yo, we quarantine nothing.
I say speaking of Spanish stories. So even though I think Zorro is origins Italian, but how it was presented as a kid when we watched The Legend of Zorro, I think was Spanish. So I'm saying, speaking of Spanish stories, hit the record button, yo, we quarantine nothing. And so I'm making an allusion to the Spanish movie Record that was just filmed on a camera. And there was a movie in Hollywood, or in the West, called Quarantine. And there's 2 movies, Quarantine and Quarantine 2 Terminal. And this is a movie about like a viral apocalypse, kind of like Resident Evil. And the movie is always, especially the first one, is filmed just using a camera. And the movie, people are quarantined in a hotel because of a viral outbreak. And they can't get out. That's the plot of the movie. But the Quarantine movie was a remake of the Spanish REC movie that was older than that. And many people feel that the Spanish Rec movie is superior to the Quarantine movie, right? So I'm making an allusion saying that, yo, I prefer Rec and I don't prefer Quarantine. And that's a metaphor to 2020 with the whole lockdown, with the whole 15 days of solar spread and all that bullshit, right? In terms of like, yo, I'm out here recording in real life, outside. I don't prefer the quarantine.
Pill for the filter, transport, pay, crypto, silver. Panic the American, a sudden land in this homelander. Yo, my verbal skills land a centurion where a pearl.
Alright, let's break that down. So, pill for the filter. I'm saying, yo, you're opening up a rapture. You're revealing something new, right? You're breaking through a barrier that's previously been installed. That barrier is alternate forms of payment via the whole cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, just shit like that, right? In terms of breaking through or providing alternatives to the fiat currency system that's been dominating the West and the world at large for the past 90 years, right? So the filter is pilfered, right? And with that comes the transportation of crypto silver, which is a play on to cryptocurrency and physical silver, right? And so a country like El Salvador, that's the reference to that in terms of they are the first country to accept, I think, Bitcoin or cryptocurrency as a legal tender in their country, right? And so it panics the establishment. It panics the American, the America being really the dominating force in terms of how countries choose to deal and which tender they use. I mean, we already know about Iraq, Syria, Libya. The minute they choose to move away from the US dollar, then all of a sudden the leader is a dictator, and we have to go in and save them in the name of liberty, right? And so in response, here comes the sudden landing of a homelander. If you ever watch The Boys, you know Homelander, he's pro-America. He's kind of winces or he's antsy to immigration. So because El Salvador did this, it's panicking the Americans. And so here comes a homelander, right? Remember, if you ever watched The Boys, spoiler alert, when Homelander lands at that protest, he's very in a heightened state, right? And he's imagining just lasering all these people. And so we have to diffuse the situation, right? So the next bar, I'm saying that, yo, it's okay, because we can't diffuse the situation. Because my verbal skills is Lannister, you know what I mean? Think about like a Tywin Lannister or a Tyrion Lannister, right? My verbal skills is Lannister, right? You know what I'm saying? And I may be a midget like Tyrion, but I'm wearing purple though, you know what I'm saying? And that's a play on to like, yo, my verbal skills is like Tyrion Lannister, but I'm Tyrion wearing purple, you feel me? Which is Tyrion purple. You already know in terms of the creation of that color, which resulted in the ancient Roman times of them having to smash like a bunch of snails at the shore, and their blood, I guess, makes the color Tyrion purple historically. So, yo, I got the diplomatic skills of Tyrion Lannister, but don't get it twisted. I'm wearing purple. I'm wearing the color Tyrion purple. You know what I mean? So I'm ready for war, you feel me? If it comes down to that. So long story short, it's an elaborate way of saying that, yo, I'm ready for war and peace. You know what I mean? I'm Tyrion Lannister, who's wearing the color Tyrion purple. I'm ready for war and peace.
Suburban homemade bombs, suddenly mad that Berkeley stalked the Unabomber. The plane stalling down their planet Venom. My radius raised, I radio the Luftwaffe. Intro to Falcon, my outstretched hand, I pulled a hand beat.
Alright, so the plane is stalling down the planet Venom. That's a reference to Planet Venom from Star Fox. Shout out to Star Fox. You feel me? my radius is raised. My radius is this bone right here. Maybe I'll put an arrow to it or show a description. So my radius is raised, and I'm radioing the Luftwaffe. It's a whole play on to Attack on Titan, really, because the main group, especially in terms of the Marlian side, they're very German-like, you know what I mean? So I'm saying, yo, I need help from the Luftwaffe, which is the Nazi Air Force at the time. Direct Attack on Titan reference, intro to Falco, which is Falco from the time skip on Attack on Titan, spoiler. My outstretched hand, I pulled a hand-me, which means I'm stretching out hand for help with my radio in hand because I pulled a hand-me, I'm injured. And then it says commands from Kokiri and Fairies. That's a reference to Legend of Zelda, obviously. Obviously, Ocarina of Time, in terms of, yo, something beyond the five senses is assisting me. Whether you think it's Ymir, Fritz, or, a creature or deity like a fairy, you know?
Virtual fans, I'm Olympic. Can't stand the plane overhead. Read the ramen is ecliptic.
The last breakdown, it's like this. Yo, I feel like I'm an Olympian because I have virtual fans. You remember the last Olympics was only virtual and you couldn't actually attend to Japan, right? Which means I feel like I'm doing a lot of things, but I don't have that real following, that real fan. It's all fictional, internet-based, right? And I can't stand that environment. I can't stand the plan overhead, which means the overarching plan that made those conditions possible of virtual fans, of the whole theater of safety and stuff like that, which was overdone in my opinion. I can't stand that overarching plan, right? But at the same time, it's self-inflicted because when my rhymes were read, it turns out it was ecliptic. And ecliptic is the visuals perspective on Earth of the celestial sphere. So it's my view of the planets and the celestial bodies. That's what it means to be an ecliptic view. Which means I'm rhyming from my perspective, using my own lingo, my own metaphors, as you can see from this breakdown, to where many people can't understand it because it's an ecliptic rhyming style, you know what I mean? So it's kind of self-inflicted why I have what I consider virtual fans, you know what I mean? So that's all I gotta say. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you want to do more. This was a bit longer, but I had fun doing it. I'm walking in the park, getting some exercise, so yeah, thanks for watching.